start to move the spine. Today, as you move the spine and lift your chin, just bring your awareness to that thoracic spine as you draw from the navel back. And several more here. Just kind of move with freedom, lifting the sit bones and chin. And exhale, get lift in the back body. And inhale. And exhale. Just kind of move so that that area, this, especially the upper thoracic spine, does not necessarily exhibit that water quality. This easeful movement. So as you just draw the breath in and out, and getting some movement in the back body, openness to the area of the heart. Come back to all fours position and step your hands a giant step forward. Tuck your toes under, lift your pelvis up. Come to downward facing dog, and just pedal your legs, but slowly. So it's this very slow flow of the water as you're moving, but really slowly. Bend your right knee, straighten your left. Now push into your right hand so your left heel feels like it's about to hit the floor, if not already on the floor. Now straighten your right leg, bend your left. So your left foot is really elevated. Press through your right hand, or your left hand, as you draw down through the right foot. Let your breath be that movement inside. Change, bend your right knee, straighten your left, press down through the right hand, so that you get this nice length, both on the right and the left side ribs. Straighten your right leg, bend your left knee, and press down through that baby finger of the left hand. Really get that earth element into this so that you can get as much length in the pose as possible, especially on the back side of the right leg. And walk your feet up to your hands. Place your hands to your low back with your knees bent, rise up. Reach up to the sky and way back with the hands wide apart. Exhale, just float easily into a forward fold. Inhale, let the hands just slide up the legs as you support yourself to rise up. And exhale, again, slide the hands down toward the earth 2 more times. Inhale. You rise up to find fullness. Exhale, soften down, and you get that fullness in the back side of the legs. 1 more. Inhale, lengthen out. Exhale, and soften down. Place your hands to your low back with your knees bent. Rise up. Reach up to the sky and way back with the hands wide apart. Exhale, flow down, slightly, softly down. Step your right foot back with your hands right alongside your ankle. Step your left foot back to come to a plank position. In the plank position, just hold it there as you pull your hands in toward each other. Come forward on your tiptoes, lower yourself all the way down. On the in-breath, draw your heart forward. And on the exhale breath, soften down. 2 more cycles here. Breathe in and rise up. Breathe out and soften down. 1 more. Breathe in and rise up. And exhale, soften down. Place your hands on blocks. And we've been working on this, just a more passive back bend here. With the hands right on the blocks, now you feel your shoulders lift up. Your fingers can be hanging off the front edges of the block. The point is to just bring the shoulder blades to lift them like they're almost just these wings that lift away from the back so that you get this feeling of openness in the chest as you rise up. Exhale down. You don't have to lift up too high. Just get that feeling that the chest opens up. You can lengthen through the spine and exhale, soften down. One more time. The front body expands as you lift up, and exhale, lower yourself down. Scoot your blocks away from you to come to all fours position, then downward facing dog. Walk your hands back to your feet. Place your hands to your low back with your elbows hugging in, rise up. Pause here, walk to the front of the mat. Open the chest nicely by drawing the thumbs back, the baby fingers forward. Just flow with grace. You just allow this water element to just take you deeper into the practice. Inhale. As you lift your arms up and back, you open the front side of the body. Exhale, you open the back side of the body. Place your hands alongside your ankles to step back, left foot, then right foot to a plank position. Lower yourself all the way down. On the in-breath, take your heart forward. On the exhale breath, come back to either child's pose, downward dog, this puppy dog pose, whichever. And just allow yourself to pause here. So whichever pose you chose, just going to take your attention to expanding the back side of the body while keeping that awareness of the flow of your own breath. Let that just going to be like this easy stream of breath. Let that just help soften. Make your way to all fours position as you're ready. If you've got blocks, grab them. Step your right foot right between your blocks and just drop down to anjaneyasana, just a low lunge here. Place your hands to the top of the right knee. Lift your left arm up and spread your left fingers. Draw over to the right side as you get this nice length. So all the way from the top of the thigh, left thigh, to the fingertips. You just get this nice fullness. Release your hand down. And tuck your back toes under. Come to a high lunge now. And in this high lunge, lift both arms up. Reach your arms up. Take your hands wider apart, reach back, and exhale, release your hands to the blocks. Come to all fours position, just so that you can trade sides, so the left foot is forward, and just drop into a low lunge here. Keep your back toes really pressing down, the back toenails, that is, so that you can get this nice length that we're looking for in the right thigh as you lift your right arm up. Now just flow to the left side as you gain this nice fullness on the right side. Release your hand down, tuck your back toes under, lift your back knee up, And same thing, lift your arms up. Take your hands wider apart. Take your gaze up. Reach up and back. Exhale, take your hands down to the blocks. Step your back foot forward. Place both hands to the low back and move down to rise up. Place your hands now right on your hip points. On the next inhale breath, lift your right knee up so you're balancing on your left foot. Now step your right leg back, touch down. Now lift your right leg up again and touch it back. This is a balance pose, but we're just kind of flowing in the balance. Lift up again and step gracefully back. 2 more. Lift the right leg up. Step back. 1 more. Lift up and step back and lift up to place the right foot down. Just pause. Notice how the left leg might feel very engaged from all that action. Now see if we can engage your right foot with the hands right at the hip points. Lift your left knee up. Step your left foot back. Lift your left knee up. Step back. Flow with the breath and the movement. And back. 2 more. Lift up. Step back. And 1 more. Lift up. Step back. And step forward and down. Come to Tadasana. Just pause here for a moment. Pause with a wide stance. So as you step wide, look at your foundation, look at your feet to make sure that they're parallel to one another. With the knees slightly bent, interlace your fingers behind your back. Draw your heart forward and down. Again, just flow with the breath here as you go a little bit deeper. So you can take your hands away from the low back if you wish and just create an elbow frame. Hold on to the elbow frame so that the weight of your arms plus your head just allows the upper body to lengthen. So the side body gets so long, but the hands can be wherever they wish as you just drop yourself a little bit deeper in the pose. Now free your hands and just come to the earth or take your hands to blocks. Turn your right toes just toward the corner edge there of the mat, so it's slightly turned out. Walk your blocks or your hands over to the side here. And just that speed skater stretch here. Draw the top of the left thigh back as you draw a little bit deeper into your pose. Inhale, just move nice and easily with the feet now parallel to one another again. Inhale, lengthen out, lift up. Again, blocks or no blocks, just allow yourself to come to prasarita padottanasana, this forward fold. Inhale, lift yourself up. Turn your left toes toward the corner of the mat. Bend your knee. Get the inner right thigh to move way back as you just kind of soften down. Bringing your awareness now to the back leg. Allowing your knee, the left leg, to align properly right over the ankle. Inhale, lift yourself up. Have your feet parallel once again. Draw down in prasarita padottanasana. Inhale, rise up. So we'll continue this wide leg, open hip flow by turning your right toes out. This time, turning them toward the front of the mat. Walk your blocks over, similar to what we did. Walk the hands over. Keep the right hand on the block, or take the right hand to the shin. Take the head of the left arm bone back. Reach your left arm up to come to uttitha trikonasana. So allow the back leg to keep that strength as you draw your underside ribs up, your gaze up. Keep a nice spread to the fingers. And just kind of flow with the breath as you reach over the head. And release your hand down. Come back to that center position with your feet parallel. Come to prasarita padottanasana again. Inhale, lengthen out, lift up. Exhale, come to a more twisting action here. Then turn your left toes toward the front of the mat. Place your left hand either on a block or the shin and lift up the right arm. Just keep a nice ease about you as the breath just helps you open up in the pose. Get length on the side body by reaching your arm over, palm facing down. Inhale, lift your arm up and come back to the center position. Have your feet parallel again. Just draw down a little bit deeper. Nod your head yes and shake it no. We'll go to our next standing pose here, parsvottanasana. So walk your blocks over to the side like we've been doing. This time turn your right toes to face the front of the mat. Step your back foot forward slightly and turn it in a lot. And from this pose, just draw your heart down toward your straight leg. So as if you're in this straight leg lunge, just soften nicely while you work length in the thoracic spine here. So from the pelvis to the armpits, breathe in to expand that space. Inhale, rise up, parallel your feet again. So now you're in a narrower stance. So as you're in this narrower stance with your hands to the blocks or floor, just bow forward, just kind of notice the difference here. In the shorter stance, inhale, rise up, come back to the opposite side here. So turn your left toes toward the short edge, turn your right toes in a lot. Same thing, just draw down in the forward fold. Keep your back foot rooted. Keep your legs scissoring in toward each other. Let the breath just flow you into a deeper space here. And that deeper space, I'm thinking, is in the thoracic spine. You've got this part of the spine that is not so flexible. And just allow your breath and these postures to take you there. Inhale, come up and parallel your feet again. Last time, this prasarita padottanasana. So any variation you like, you can have your fingers interlaced behind you. You can have your arms over your head. Just pause here in this pose. And as you do, just kind of notice how the flow of these three standing poses just allowed you to become so much more easeful here in this forward fold. Bend your knees, place your hands to your low back, and Take yourself up to come to Tadasana. Just pause in your Tadasana. Stand really tall. And come to your knees. If your knees like a little padding, by all means, grab it. I like using blocks here. So with the knees on the blanket, with blocks right by the ankles, reach your right fingers back to the block. And when you do, turn your palm forward. So the fingertips are on the block. You're pressing down, and the more you press down, the more length that you get. Good. So as you get this length, reach your left arm forward to shorten that distance. This time from the fingertips to the armpit, to shorten that first before reaching your arm up and reaching it over. So let the flow of the breath just allow you to come to a deeper expression of this pose. So if the tall block feels a little bit too tall for you, just come out of the pose. Take the block down slightly. Inhale, rise up. Come to the opposite side. Press your fingertips down. And as you turn your palm to face forward, press all fingertips down. Take your opposite arm forward. Plug in, pull in first. Just notice how that just opens the chest so nicely. Reach your arm up and over. Just maintain a nice, fluid, easeful breath in the posture. And inhale, lift yourself up. This time with the hands just alongside the side body or to the low back. So that same gesture that we are doing, head of the arm bone back, with our hands to the low back, you can still take the heads of the arm bones back to open the chest. Now draw back, lift your heart, press your hand down to the block. Again, block can be any height you wish. Maybe you can press both hands down to the block. Open the chest nicely, or just keep the hands to the low back. Keep this nice opening of the chest. And inhale, lift yourself out. Come to all fours position. And in case you overstretched anything, let's just do a few cat-cow here to just keep a nice fullness to the back body. And work on the arch of the lumbar spine as you lift your chin. Again, fullness to the back body. And a nice arch. In the next posture, we'll just be working on a little bit more fullness to the front body. And come back to the center position. Have both blocks forward as you step your right foot right between the blocks and just draw down. So we've done a few lunges. Now we'll go a little bit deeper in our lunge poses. So as you drop into the pose here, take your blocks back slightly. Lift your chest, drop in a little bit deeper. Take your pelvis back. Take your pelvis back so much as you start to straighten your front leg. Take your pelvis back so much that maybe you can just park your pelvis on one of the blocks so you can be really high if you wish. Or some of us can come all the way down to park your pelvis all the way to the mat, or maybe to a shorter block. Just kind of find out for this side what feels right for you. With your right foot forward, just draw your heart down toward your straight leg. Try and mukhaikapada, paschimottanasana. As you draw down, just let the breath be easeful as you draw your heart toward your extended leg. Now inhale, rise up, come to the lunge again. And sometimes it's a little awkward getting out of this pose. So come out of this pose to the lunge, drop in a little bit more. So today's practice, we're working on especially that upper thoracic area, getting a little bit more space here through the flow of the breath. So one way to get that space is to do a twist here. So twist toward your bent right leg. Take your right hand behind you. Now, yogi's option here, you can lift up and grab your back foot if you feel like you've got enough thigh stretch there to manage that, or just keep the foot down and keep on turning yourself into the twist as you drop your pelvis a little bit lower in the pose. And slowly come out of the pose and back to all fours position. In all fours position, just pause here for a moment in either this puppy dog pose, downward facing dog, or child's pose, whichever works for you. Just pause here. Flow with the breath. Just notice after the twist and after the deeper lunge pose, anjaneyasana, notice how the front side of the body expands so fully. Let's all meet back in all fours position and take your left foot forward and drop in. Just see on this side as you go a little bit deeper. Those of you that wish to just get a little bit more stretch in the Achilles tendon, you may want to take your left foot back a little bit more. But if you have fussy knees, that's probably not such a good idea for you. So just tune here to your own practice. Align yourself nicely with what works for you. Come back to straighten the leg. As you inch your foot forward, just come back again. You can either sit yourself all the way to the mat. It's a slightly asymmetric pose with one knee bent and one leg straight. And just draw yourself forward in the forward fold as you extend the foot forward. Soften down. And inhale, lift yourself up. Carefully take yourself up to a lunge position again. And in this lunge position, drop in. We'll do a twist, and again, some of you may want to lift up your back foot and grab hold. Others just stay in this deep lunge. Take your hand to your low back and twist as much as possible. And as you twist, in order to get a little bit more twist in the cervical spine, you might recall the actions we've been doing, which is to turn your head as much as possible, shift your eyes, and notice how you can turn your head a little bit more. Come back to all fours position and either child's pose, downward facing dog, puppy dog, whichever posture you'd like to. Just allow the breath to expand the back body in. Breathe in deep and breathe out long. Let's come off the mat. Take your props away from you. Lie on your back. As you pause in this posture, take the heads of the arm bones back so that you get a nice lift to the chest. Now, as you press both feet firmly down, hug in, press down, and then pull your heels toward your heart. Just notice how that tones the low back so nicely by engaging the hamstrings in that way. Lift your heels up, lift your pelvis up, and slide a block right underneath the pelvis. On the next inhale breath, lift your feet straight up. This is Vipartakarani, and if this is not feeling so good for you, then just keep your knees bent. So as you reach up in whatever variation of the pose works for you, see how you can, even though this appears so passive, how can you let this flow all the way from the toes to your heart? Still be a flow of ease. Again, you can slightly bend your knees if that works best for you. Stay here for 5 more full cycles of the breath. Two more. Now keep your right leg lifted, bend your left knee, and press your left foot down. So for some of you, this may be just not enough of an opening on the low block. So be sure that you're at the right height for you. If you feel like, oh, I can be a little bit taller, then by all means, make yourself taller on the block. So with your left foot down, your right foot lifted, keep a nice action there. Press into the left foot, almost like you're trying to lift off the block, but you don't lift off. Just keeping the left leg really active. Lift your left leg up. Pause here. Take your right foot down. Press down through the right foot, but in the same actions that we were doing for Setu Sarvangasana, pull in from the foot toward your chest. Lift the right foot up. Pause here. 3 more cycles of the breath in this pose. Place your feet down to the earth. Lift your heels up to slide your block out of the way. Take your legs either in sukhasana with the middle of the shins touching, the knees wide, or you can take your feet in padottanasana with the feet pressing together in prayer pose. What still gives you lots of opening in the pelvic area? Keep your right foot where it is. Draw your left knee in. Interlace your fingers right at the shin bone. Pull the left leg in. Press your left foot back to your right foot. Draw your right knee in toward your right ribs with the fingers interlaced. Release your right foot down to padottanasana again. As you're ready, straighten your right leg, straighten your left leg. Let the heaviness of the legs just commit you to just such a nice, solid foundation at the pelvic area. Your legs and your arms equidistant from the midline that you set for yourself. The water element can be really this fast moving, almost destructive force. Or it can be this very easeful flowing. You're just going to flow with grace. And as you drop into Shavasana, see how the flow of the breath and have that easeful quality of water, the ease of very slow movement. A liquid feeling. Just drawing yourself deep into the in-breath. Long on the out-breath. There's movement, but it's slow and it's easeful. Breathe in deep. Breathe out long. Breathe in deep. Breathe out long. Breathe in deep. Breathe out long. Slowly bend your knees. Plant your feet. Extend your arms up over your head. Draw it to your side and slowly lift yourself up. Place your hands right in front of your heart. Let's honor our practice today. That flow of the breath, the flow of the water, that ease, this ittha shakti, this flow of our own actions. Draw your breath in. To that easeful flow, we bow. Namaste.